Hey y'all, got you out here with me on a beautiful day, a little breezy, but it's absolutely perfect, 70 degrees here in Asheville. Awesome springtime. I'm out here with Fred after lunch having some coffee, and thought I would get around to making some videos about some things that I've been thinking about for a long time that I just haven't sat down and done. So here we are. So this one is, the first one I'm going to start with is fitting for April, because April's birthstone is diamonds, and I use a lot of lab diamonds in my jewelry. So I thought I would do a little talk about natural versus lab and why I use mostly lab diamonds in my pieces. So first, some facts about natural diamonds. It took billions of years for diamonds to be created in the planet under super high heat and high pressure conditions. So they are very rare in that sense that, they are just wonders, natural wonders in that sense. And they are also the hardest substance on Earth. Now, don't get confused, that means for scratching. They can chip, they can break, and they can burn. So they are the hardest for scratching, but that's why diamond rings can get chipped. You hit them hard enough at the right spot and they'll just, crack. And interestingly, only about 30% of the natural diamonds that are mined are diamond jewelry quality. And one thing that I stumbled on when I was doing some research was that America buys more than 40% of the world's gem quality diamonds, making it the world's largest diamond market. Now, there's a lot to unpack there. Just for generational reasons, for mostly in my mind, it's largely to do with De Beers, and they are the controller, basically, of all the natural diamonds. So they have had some genius, and some might say nefarious marketing and means. I won't go into it here. You can go explore about the history of De Beers and in Africa and all the different policies and histories and things that they've done, but definitely a lot there about America being the biggest diamond market. Now, on to lab diamonds. Diamonds that are created in a lab are, most people have only heard of them in the past 5-10 years or so, but they were actually created in 1952. They were not good enough quality for jewelry, but for commercial purposes. There are so many, parts and especially microchips. There's so many different things that use diamonds, abrasives. So they were used, the lab diamonds were used for that for decades, until like the mid-2010s, when they were able to make the clarity and the color good enough for using in jewelry. And there's two different ways that they make diamonds in the lab. One way called CVD, which is chemical vapor deposition, and the other way is HPHT, high pressure, high temperature. They both result in the same crystal structure of natural diamonds, with nearly the same chemical, optical, and physical properties of natural diamonds. So basically, you would need special equipment to tell the difference between a natural diamond and a lab diamond. Just using your loupe, and a regular little diamond tester won't tell the difference. So that's not something that I can look at and just say, oh yeah, this is a different, moissanite, you can tell. There's tells for moissanite versus diamonds, but for lab diamond versus natural, you'd have to, right now, with the technology that there is, you'd have to send it off to a lab to do that. I would have to send it off to a lab to do that. So why do I use lab diamonds in my jewelry? Most of my current collections use smaller diamonds, referred to in the trade as melli. So that's going to be diamonds under 3.5 or 4 millimeters. And for my thinking, it helps keep my prices down, especially with the way gold has been jumping up and skyrocketing over the past 12 to 18 months. Generally speaking, lab diamonds are about 1/5 of the price of natural diamonds, but they give the same look. So I'm trying to balance things that way. And a big issue with lab diamonds only costing about 1/5 of natural diamonds is their resale value. Now, lab diamonds don't really have resale value. You pay for them and you use them like diamonds and you enjoy it, and you're not going to be able to go, in 50 years to an auction house and say, well, here's my 4-carat lab diamond, whatever. That being said, with my experience as a jewelry specialist at an auction house for 6 or 7 years, I had to burst a lot of bubbles about natural diamonds. People would come in with these zonking great appraisals on grandma's diamond ring, and I would have to tell them the reality in the secondary market, aka auctions or resale, is generally about 1/3 to 1/5 of the appraised value. So there are exceptions to every rule, of course, but generally speaking, that was a good rule of thumb to be able to tell people, is that, if you have a big diamond and you paid $50,000 for it, you're not gonna get that back. About 1/3 to 1/5, generally, depending. So that it was one reason that when I started my collection, I went right for lab diamonds, because especially in the little sizes, I just felt like it was the best option for me and for my clients. So when I'm making a custom piece, though, and if you've ever been in the store and looked at my bridal collection, they're all samples, and I've broken it down price-wise for options in different types of golds, platinum, and then again broken it down by lab diamond or natural diamond and what the cost would be, and the difference for those. And it's almost 50-50 what people choose. It's really a personal preference about what people would really rather have for their either engagement or bridal or just a regular ring. Another thing to talk about kind of quickly is the sustainability of lab diamonds. And now I don't pretend to greenwash it. There's pros and cons to both labs and naturals in terms of the effect that it has on the planet and the people that make them and or mine them. My feeling is that it takes an awful lot of energy to replicate in 3 to 4 weeks the heat and temperature and pressure that it took the planet billions of years to do. So that energy is coming from somewhere, right? So somebody is moving Earth to some level to make this energy happen. So, like I said, there's pros and cons to each. I actually honestly do like the fact that it is lab diamonds are allowing people to get the dream jewelry that they've always wanted, that makes them feel their best. And it's sort of taken down some barriers that way. But I also totally understand that, a lab diamond is not as rare as a natural diamond. It's, a natural diamond is a one-of-a-kind thing in this world, and that still means a lot to a lot of people. So when I'm making a ring for someone else, it is totally up to their preference. I am happy to help them find a natural or a lab diamond in whatever their budget is and whatever their preferences are. So I hope that helps kind of explain a little bit, not too in depth, but obviously long enough at this point to start a little conversation about lab versus natural diamonds. So hope that maybe made you think about some things a little bit differently. And if you have any questions, always reach out, shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. I would love to chat about it. And yeah, all right. Thanks, y'all. Bye.